Welcome to Real Conversations with Patricia Baranovsky-Schneider, the podcast that takes you on a journey around the world to meet some of the most inspiring and accomplished individuals. Discover their stories, uncover invaluable business lessons from their paths to success, and gain exclusive insights on how to apply their strategies to elevate your life and business.
Hello, and welcome to Real Conversations with Patricia. I'm your host, Patty Baranovsky-Schneider. Today, I'm joined by Lance and Lori Kezner, specialty food innovator. So welcome, Lance and Lori. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Patricia. My name is Lance, and we created a product called Millie's Sipping Broth, and we're from Bellevue, Washington.
Oh, nice.
I'm Lori. I'm the other partner here, and I'm a former teacher, and this was actually created out of a need for a snack in the afternoon. So we have a story. So
yeah,
I can't wait to hear it. Well, I was going to ask, so what inspired you to start creating food and beverage products, and how'd your journey evolve from your home kitchen to Walmart shelves nationwide?
well, we started in the food business after a job layoff in 2009.
Okay.
And we both decided that we wanted to kind of take our own destinies into our own hands rather than relying on other people to run their companies and to work for other people.
Right.
And we created a product that was a garlic condiment. We didn't know what we were doing. I was a tech sales guy, Lori is a teacher, and we just got into the business completely backwards. We didn't know, like I said, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know, who to sell to or whatever. A year and a half later, we won Outstanding Product of the Year at the Fancy Food Show in New York for this product. And we didn't know what hit us. We were a feature on the front cover of Specialty Food Magazine.
Wow.
And it was pretty much like drinking from a fire hose, as they say, because we got all this attention, and then all of a sudden everything changed. And what we realized is that we were not prepared to really, we weren't prepared for a product that was going to really scale.
Okay.
And so we kind of were looking for something that was a lot more scalable, a lot more unique, and could be used on a daily basis. And so, Lori, you want to?
So as a teacher, I would take a bouillon cube to work every day because that was my afternoon snack. Because if you go into the teacher's break room and there's all the desserts from the weekend, that people don't want in their house. That's a lot of break rooms, I'm sure. Anyway, so I would have that every afternoon, and it would curb my appetite. And so when I got home, I was ready for dinner. I wasn't starving. And Lance said, there's so much sodium and artificial ingredients in those. Let me see what I can do for you. I'm going to mix some ingredients together and see what I can come up with.
Wow.
And I said, well, I don't have much time. Teachers don't have time between classes. Could you put it all in a tea bag for me? And so that's what he did. And we were in the kitchen playing around with Lipton tea bags. We'd rip them open. We'd pour in the little ingredients mixes that we were trying out, staple them back together and steep them. And that was our very beginning. And we made several. Our first flavor was tomato basil, and I took them to school, and the teachers thought, what a great idea. So we looked at each other and thought, gee, maybe this could be something. And we're so fortunate. We worked really hard, but now it's something.
That's amazing. They always say, you can make something about how is it filling a void? What is it people need? And it is true. It's kind of like I'm over here with cheese and crackers right now. I'm like, I just need a snack, something for now.
Right.
And they're really, and everything out there, anything quick is not healthy, so you're kind of stuck. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's funny when you say the scalable, because I just had this conversation with someone, like even in business, like I know how to do what I do, but they don't teach you in school. For me, like when I started my own company, the lawsuits, copyrights, you have no idea like any of the stuff till it's thrown on your lap. Then you're like, oh my God. Like, so it's tricky. You had the idea, you had the passion you go to do, but now there's a whole other avenue that you have to go down
Oh,
that you're not prepared for.
It's still on a daily basis. I mean,
yeah.
we've been doing the Millie's product for over 10 years. And I mean, literally, I looked at Lori yesterday and I said, I mean, like there's never a dull day ever. There's always some kind of thing that's thrown at you. And most of what we do is problem solving, which is really, I think, what, blind optimism, right? Not knowing what we're getting ourselves into,
Right.
and problem solving are probably the two biggest keys to, maintaining your progress,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. That's
Oh, I mean,
true.
that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, last week I said, or he had one day where he goes, "Gee, I think everything's kind of in place. I can kind of breathe." And then the next day, was
All hell breaks
crazy
loose.
was
Don't
again.
drink, don't jinx it. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, how does your family's values and legacy influence the products you create and the vision for your business?
I mean, it's probably the most important thing. I mean, the name says it.
That
Lori, do you
that
want
was that was my mom, and she was
Mm,
just the sweetest, sweetest lady. And
nice.
she passed away in 2005, and we just thought, this would be such a nice tribute to her. So, and it
Nice.
just kind of works out, Millie's Kitchen kind of thing, and Millie's
Oh,
Millie's sipping broth. So
that's
I know
awesome.
she's smiling from above. And we also have I have a brother who's developmentally disabled, and I think her dream was always for maybe a family member to have a business that he could work with. And
Mm,
he comes to work every day and works with us, which is great. I mean, and it gives him a real purpose.
it was meant to
So,
be. Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's always weird. They always say life doesn't give you what you want; it gives you what you need. And you could have been doing the job you had, and blah blah blah. And wasn't expecting this, but sure enough, this is exactly what you needed. Nice.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. This is very very true.
Sometimes.
So now, what challenges did you face in developing category disrupting products like Millie's sipping broth, and how'd you overcome them?
Well, um, we basically created a whole new category of a hot drink.
Okay.
Um, and a lot of the challenges that we encounter to this day are people thinking about drinking a savory hot beverage instead of coffee or tea or chocolate or anything like that. And they kind of go, oh, well, I didn't think about that.
Right.
Or, oh, that's something that's good only
When you're sick.
when you're sick. It's like, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, grew up with their mother giving them broth when they're sick or something like
Right.
that. So I think the biggest challenge that we have is, hey, there's this whole other flavor category out there that can satisfy you instead of grabbing a bag of Cheetos. And so as we have expanded our footprint, we've really focused on the early adopters, the people who had the need, like Lori, right? So it was a very simple, straightforward need. She wanted something in between meals that wasn't going to wreck her appetite later on, but would satisfy. And so during COVID, we were discovered by Weight Watchers.
Right.
And featured on the front page of their website for all of their members because we were 0 points. It was a
Wow.
0 point snack.
Yeah,
And during COVID, everyone was trying to watch,
right.
their
They were
weight.
home. There
Right.
was a fridge nearby.
And it
Yeah.
went nuts. It
Wow.
went really crazy. So what we did is we really focused on what they were telling us, right? What those customers who were the most passionate about our product, and to this day, we still listen to those people who need what we have on a daily basis.
Right.
So the challenge has always been balancing, you know, what what people think about when they hear about it, and then focusing on the people who need it, and really kind of translating that message
Mm,
to a broader audience as we grow and people discover what we can provide to them.
right. I think it's awesome because it's like, especially like now, I'm getting freezing cold out there. And like every morning I'll have my tea. I'm not a coffee drinker, my husband is, but people aren't going to drink that later in the day because then they can't sleep. And I think the same with the tea. So during the day, when you think about, okay, I need something warm, first thing you're thinking is, okay, well, I don't want to have a tea, a hot chocolate, but you don't
Right,
even think about
right,
this, and it's healthy. It's, really, you're not putting on a ton of weight from drinking. I mean, you have a very, good, healthy snack. I mean, it's
right,
perfect.
right, right. And it is satiating. It does make you feel like it satisfies you. Yeah.
Right.
We were interviewed last week by a pretty famous Northwest chef, is a
Wow.
James Beard Award winning chef, and he said, he goes, I am just getting tired of herbal tea, and I
Yeah.
and I drink it every day. And he goes, this I think
Need
is going to
something different.
be this is going to be my thing
Wow.
because I'm just getting sick of it. And yeah, so we're here to fill that void.
That's perfect because again, if I wouldn't know about it, I mean, it's when you go to the store, what are they throwing in your face? Junk food, junk food, junk food. So if you know that there's a healthy alternative and,
Right,
not just
right.
one flavor, and it is true, like, something else you'll have, a can of soup or ramen soup. The reality is, nowadays with all the pesticides and, all the garbage that's put in half of this stuff, it doesn't necessarily, it's quick, it's easy, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. So having an
Right,
alternative and
right,
people knowing about it, that's a good thing. So good for you.
right, right.
Well,
Yeah.
and another thing, another thing that we have discovered is that not only does it satisfy people for a snack, but it also helps kind of give them some peace and calm during the day.
Nice.
Now more than ever, people are looking for ways to kind of keep their anxiety
Right.
or in check, and this really forces you to
Just sit down and take a
take
Yeah.
break and
take a break and
yeah,
be comforted.
in
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah.
And another thing is that because it's all real ingredients, I mean, it's
Right.
little veggies and every seasoning. You can open the packet and I mean, we make a great popcorn with it. You just sprinkle
Wow.
it on. You can use it as seasoning. We put it in so many things
Wow.
aside from just drinking it. So that's kind of a benefit too.
That's awesome. See, this is all stuff
Yeah.
people need to know about, because it is true. I mean, you
Yeah.
can,
No, you would never think about that because you don't eat tea leaves.
yeah,
But this you can, I will make a little pot of lentils and just open a packet and let them cook together and it
it's
tastes
awesome.
wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
You get a little cookbook going now. I'm
No.
not, I'm serious. That tell us winning multiple specialty food association awards. It's a significant achievement. So how have these accolades impacted your business and your approach to innovation?
I think it's interesting, as a food, we still consider ourselves a food startup, even though we're now
10
we're
years?
closing in. Well, we're closing in on almost 3,000 stores where our
Wow,
product is. Yeah, but
that's
we still
amazing.
consider ourselves very much a startup.
Okay.
Um, I think the awards have, they're early on. We thought, oh, we just need to get into this one account
Right.
and everything will be, incredible after that. Or we just need to get this award and everyone will know
Yeah.
about us. And what we've come to realize, and we've won three. They're called Sophie Awards,
Oh,
and from the fancy food show. What I've come to realize is that it's great at that moment, and then after that, it doesn't really
It's
matter.
gone.
It's gone, and you know, it was a great achievement, and they're actually sitting over here on our
Mantle.
mantle. But you know no one really, it seems like no one really cares after you win it. Now it's something that we will always have. No one can take that
right.
award away from us, but the average consumer doesn't really care. They're still focused on the need,
Right.
right? The need for this, the quality of this, and the value. those
Right.
are the those are the three things that we just realize are the most important things.
Right.
And those awards, they're nice to haves. They're great to put, on the resume
Right.
and everything like that. But I think the most important thing for us is that customer who's passionate enough about our product to come back and buy it every day.
Right.
And that's what translates into, the growth of getting our product into more retailers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just having people, case studies or testimonials, and because it is kind of funny where everything's like word of mouth, or what do they call it, influencer marketing or whatnot. It could be something I've never even heard of, but it's amazing. Like, I've actually bought stuff online where it could be Oprah Winfrey or somebody happened to just do a testimony, and I'm like, well, if she liked it, it must be good. So I mean, having customers who
Absolutely.
can say that I've come back and, oh my God, like all these flavors, and how they're even asking people, doing like little studies. What else are you doing? We put this on our popcorn. Have you tried anything different? And just getting all the, it's amazing. And I guarantee you're just going to get a lot of people who it becomes like word of mouth. It just becomes like influencer marketing.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I think what means even more to us than the awards are, we do get it's really special. Yes, in fact, yesterday we got the nicest phone call from a woman who she has her own business and she put it in her break room. And she said, I want to thank you. This is so clever and tasty. And I've got my whole business drinking them. And I'm so glad you created. We were so touched. Those she took time to call us to tell us, was so sweet. So,
Yeah, and I called her back. She didn't know that she was going to get a call back, and she didn't know she was going to get a call back from,
You.
one of the people that
Yeah.
created the product.
Right.
but we appreciated it so much. It still means so much to us to hear that
Right.
people really like our product. So
That's awesome.
that's kind of a check-in. When you lose that, and you're just focused on so many other things, that's not good.
Yeah, it brings you back. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Now, your products aim to help with stress and anxiety. So how do you ensure that they deliver on the mission, and why is that important to you?
I think that first off, the way you make the product
Right.
forces you to take 4 minutes, okay, out of your day to steep the item in hot water
Okay.
in order to get the flavor right. Okay,
Right.
so we are guaranteed that you can't do anything else for 4 minutes until it's ready.
Take a break.
And then when you take that, and then when you smell it, okay, that's another 20 seconds. Then you smush it with your spoon. That's another 30.
Right.
So, maybe 5 minutes. We're forcing you to focus
Right.
on making that thing. If we can get 5 minutes out of you, and you're not thinking about anything else, and you take that first sip, and it's like, oh my gosh, that flavor is amazing. I think that's what we've done. Now, we can't guarantee that that's all you're doing, because you may be, running.
Multitasking.
Yeah, you might
Yeah,
be
got the kids
multitasking or
pulling at you.
whatever.
Right.
But we try to convey it with our flavors. Our flavors are very comfort oriented and global flavors that kind of signify this comfort. We've got delight pho, we've got spicy tortilla, Thai lemongrass, tomato basil. All of these are very comfort. We say comfort food in a broth. That's kind of our slogan. And so whenever we create something new, that is the aim, is to, kind of sit there and think, okay, is this going to make me feel good? And, can we imagine, down the road, getting more phone calls from people saying, this, I love this. This is great. It gives me a moment to relax. Or I send this to, people who are sick, people who are going through chemo treatment or something like that. And it just makes them feel really good. And you'd be surprised how many times we get people who tell us, that they gave this to a loved one who was going through some kind of treatment or in the hospital or something like that, and it made them feel really good. So to us, that's a success.
Yeah, as you were talking, I'm just thinking gift baskets, holiday gift baskets. I mean, there's just so much stuff.
Colonoscopy prep.
Yeah.
Hey, we really think that it should be on airplane beverage carts. Can you imagine everyone goes crazy when they're flying these days. It
Right.
would be amazing to,
Calming.
give people something to kind of calm them down
Right.
and make them feel good rather than give them caffeine, right?
Or even people
Uh,
bringing it on the plane, because nowadays you can't bring the liquids, but you can get a
exactly.
hot water on the
Right.
plane. So convincing people,
Yes.
buy the box, take one on the plane with you. You can, because they come around. Do you want
They're
anything? Just
portable.
want hot
Yeah.
water. Yeah, and you're allowed to bring it on
We
a plane.
Yeah.
whenever we fly, we give it to the flight attendants, and
Nice.
the last two flights they came back to us and said, "Oh, I already drink this," and
Wow.
I heard about it from another flight attendant, and
Right.
so we're just trying to get the word out there, one flight at a time.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Now, why'd you choose to focus on plant-based, unsweetened, and flavorful products? And how do these align with your current consumer trends?
I'm a vegetarian. And
Okay.
so we made a commitment to each other that our products were going to be not with absolutely no use of animals.
Right. Nice.
And our first product, our garlic product, was also vegan. And this is vegan. And bone broth is a big deal now. People talk about it all the time. And in fact, there's always often an assumption, oh, it's bone broth. No, it's not. No animals were hurt in this. So that's our commitment. And we really wanted something uh, healthier.
Right.
It's pretty fascinating. If you open the little packet, you can see the little tiny pieces of carrots and all the little veggies in there. So we really wanted to replicate what you can make on the stove and spend hours stirring and cooking and boiling. And we wanted to make a little mini version of that, and we've been successful.
We also realized that the proteins that people use for, you know, but look, she's talking about for bone broth or things like that, really don't add any flavor. In fact,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to over season things in
Mm.
order to mask the flavor of that protein. And so we realized that really early on that it really didn't add any benefit.
Mm.
We do get accused sometimes of people saying, this tastes like chicken or this tastes like beef. And we're like, yeah, well, you
Are you
know,
sure there's no
yeah, are
chicken?
you sure there's no beef? Yeah, there's nothing in there. You can look at the ingredients. And so that tells us that we've done a good job in kind of, replicating those flavors.
That's
But
awesome.
down the road, we really think that there's really no need to add any animal-based proteins
Right.
to what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing because, like I said, you take any can out of the counter, and if I want to have, not I don't work for them, I don't want to get in trouble for labor, but Lipton's tea or anything like that,
Right, right,
any
right.
type. If you have chicken noodle soup, that could sit in my closet for 2 years. How on earth is chicken sitting in my cabinet for 2 years? And it's all the crap that's put in there. It's not healthy. It might taste good, but it's not healthy. There's so much, so many
Just
chemicals in there.
artificial. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's, if
yeah,
there's an and especially being vegan and vegetarian, you're opening the doors to so many people. And,
yeah.
it's ironic because I knew somebody else who they became a franchise, but he had a pregnant wife, and he said, I'm trying to get her food. There's no healthy food out there. So he had created this restaurant where he just had nothing, everything was baked, not
Oh, wow.
fried, but it's like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
realize
yeah,
that
yeah.
there's a need for this, and there's nothing else out there unless you do it, which is what you're doing.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Right.
So,
When you make our broth, you're making it fresh for the
right.
first time, right when you make it.
Uh-huh.
That can of soup or that carton of broth
Right.
was made, a year ago
Right.
in, some, big kettle
Yeah.
vat.
Yeah.
With ours, you're making it in your favorite mug,
Right.
right in front of you. So you
Right.
know exactly, what went into it.
But they, nowadays, like I always just have this conversation with people about, half the diseases we have now. And like even back in the day, all the diseases that we have, ADHD, autism, this, that, these weren't really big things back then. But now they're like everybody's, somebody who has all of this. And it's like, what's changed? And then they said with, somebody else took a can of, I think it was a can of vegetables or something out of the cabinet from like 20 years ago. And they were cleaning out their mother's house, whatever. And on the can, it actually had like like a heart, and it was labeled, heart healthy, blah, blah, blah. And the ingredients were like 3 things and calories were like 20 calories. The same exact company, the same exact can now, the no more heart healthy label. There's like 20 different ingredients. The calories are like 300. And it's like, what's changed? It's the same thing, but it's all the crap they're putting in it to just try to make a buck. We'll keep it on the shelves longer and we could sell more and make more money, but at our health. It's like we didn't have half of these diseases we had before, half of these illnesses. So having an alternative, healthy yet good option is like a huge thing. And I think people nowadays are starting to get a little more alert to this.
Aware.
Like, we want that, I think that's great.
Yeah. We are typically when companies look at our products, they consider our ingredients clean ingredients.
Right. That's
Now,
awesome.
it's unfortunate that they have to use the word clean, but that's what it means, which is you read it and it's exactly what it is.
Right.
You can recognize every word,
Right.
is what they say.
But even like going to the store, like some people I know will spend extra to get organic food. Even though our government labels it organic, doesn't mean it's 100% organic. They're still allowed to have a percentage in there. And it's like, sadly, we don't live in a world where the government's doing what's in our best interest. So we have to do it. And you are doing it, which I think is awesome.
Yes. Yep.
So tell us, what was the process like to get your products into Walmart stores? And what advice do you have for others aiming to scale their specialty food business?
Yeah, the Walmart opportunity was just amazing. We had to keep it under wraps for about a year, and just went live a couple of months ago.
Nice.
The opportunity really came out of Walmart has something that's called an open call, which is every year they look for products that are made in the United States, and they say, tell us what you've got. If we like it, we'll bring you on, to the campus for a meeting at Bentonville at the headquarters, and then we'll consider your product for our stores.
Right.
So we applied in 2023. I think I wrote 2 paragraphs, and 7,000 other products were given to the buyers to look at too. It was for every category at Walmart. It wasn't just for the soup or broth or whatever. And we got, I think it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months later, I got a note that said you've been chosen,
Wow.
and you're gonna come to Bentonville to meet with a buyer.
Wow.
And so I had just had hernia surgery, so I couldn't go. But one of our partners, our sales partners, said he would go, and they invited 800 companies to meet with them, 400 virtually, like we're doing now, and 400 in person. So they invited us in person, and it was a 25-minute meeting. And they had a concept called a golden ticket, which meant that they could decide to give you a deal on the spot. And we got a deal on the spot.
Wow.
And that was only about 70 companies out of the initial 7,000 that, So we were floored. We didn't really know what it meant. The next day, we got another golden ticket from Sam's Club, and we didn't even know that was a thing.
Wow.
So, and we just launched in Sam's Club this week.
Wow.
In half of all the Sam's Clubs. So we're in half of all the Walmarts, half of the Sam's Clubs. After that, we were running like our heads were, not attached to our necks. And we're still, I'm getting emails today about, what's going on with this and that. But it has been an amazing learning experience. It has been an amazing opportunity. And working with the world's largest retailer, which basically they do double the amount of sales of Amazon. And by the way, we're on Amazon too. but working with the world's largest retailer is a privilege, and that's how we look at it. It's really, it's our job to make sure that we perform for them in order to keep things going. And so far, so good. We're right in the soup aisle, just to the left of Campbell's soup at eye level. We have all 4 of our flavors there. They gave us an amazing opportunity.
Wow.
And
we're grateful. Yeah,
absolutely grateful for it. Yeah.
That's
but
amazing.
now it has to sell. It has, that's the thing. I think people have heard that we've been in like early on with our garlic product. We were in Whole Foods.
Wow.
And everyone thought, oh, they've got it made. They're in Whole Foods and they're on, and it has to sell. If it's a new item that people don't know what it is, it sits on the shelf. Yeah. So we've learned that behind that little spot on the shelf has to be a lot of marketing.
I was just going to say, because that's what I do. I'm like, when we're done, I'm going to have a chat with you about this because I had all these ideas already. But yeah, you can have the greatest thing in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it's,
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
It's always be selling, no matter what. It doesn't end. But for us, it's not like we're trying to get people to do certain things or whatever. Our selling apparatus is the quality of the product and getting people to think, wow, why didn't I think of this? Did you hear about this cool idea? That I think has a broader appeal than someone trying to get you to do something.
Right. And we feel like we really did. And you said this early on, and the key to all this, and I learned this from Lance, is if there's a need in the marketplace and you can fill that need, that's where you're going to have success.
Well, it's
there's a million barbecue sauces, right? Yeah. A million barbecue sauces. Well, so
it's one of the things that I always, tell clients. Everybody feels that, I have the greatest product in the whole wide world or they know my name, they should just buy. It's not about you. It's about them. No. What are you doing for them? Because they don't care who you are. You could be, I don't work for them, but Coca-Cola. Okay. And now someone else came up with a soda. Yeah, but you're not Coca-Cola. But why are you better and different? Because now you get my attention. So really getting out there about who you are, why you're different, why you're better, and showing how the whole world loves this. You're saving money, you're healthier, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah.
And sometimes, we get questions, I get questions from people who are starting something or have started something. And they say, what is the biggest thing that I should focus on? And I always say, your personality really needs to come out in the product. In how, and now more than ever, our personalities can come out. Social media is amazing. We never, had the opportunity to showcase the personality of the people behind the product. And I think that, you need to embrace that because it's authentic. I mean, we're real people. We got up here, at 8 a.m. here in Seattle to do this wonderful interview with you. And we're sitting in a cafe that we built in the front room of our house. And, what everybody who comes in the door, we make them take a picture in the cafe with the sign behind them.
Awesome.
And post it on there. And it's
not just real. It's not a real cafe.
It's not a real cafe.
Our house.
But it looks like a cafe.
That's awesome.
We do have an espresso machine next to us that you can't see. But,
that's awesome. But I mean, it makes it real, because you're not someone who just is trying to make a quick buck. You're someone who had a need yourself. And now you're filling the void, and now you've expanded on it, and I love how you could do other things with it, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah. So now, how do you balance honoring your family's legacy while continuously innovating to stay competitive in the specialty food market?
I think, we definitely, this is a family business. We started the business just to be able to have more control. We've employed every one of our family members, both of our boys, Lori's brother, Lori's sister, pretty much anyone who is connected to us, who wants to contribute some way. We put them to work. I grew up in a family business myself. My dad was an entrepreneur. So this was nothing new to me.
Right.
And I think that, you know, uh, taking all of the knowledge that I learned
Right.
and transferring it to my sons as best as I can,
Right.
as much as they'll listen to me and to Lori, is probably, the best thing that we can do,
Right.
is to give them an example of, you know, you can do things that you set your mind on.
Yeah,
And I think
100%.
that's the bottom line. It's like taking care of our family is critical.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And
Yeah.
and just making sure that we pay attention to our customers
Right.
and what they want and what their needs are and the quality of our product.
Right.
That's how we honor, what we've created and how we want to move forward.
So the business has role, we have roles that are really good at, and Lori's role is really, she's the bottom line when it comes to quality. And if it does not pass her test, it doesn't go. And we recently had a very big batch of our product that did not pass the QA test,
The Lori test.
for
And it's hard to
sensory.
say that,
The
but
sensory, which is the taste and
Yeah.
smell and flavor,
Right.
didn't pass, and it was it's an
that's
expensive
mishap.
yes.
Yeah.
But,
But
I mean,
we're
at
not
the-
going to put something out
Yeah.
there that isn't quality. So or
Right.
doesn't taste right. So
No, but that's a good test, because some other companies, it's all machinery. They just put it through. But, think about that. Everybody's loving this, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this just tastes horrible.
This
They're not
isn't
going to
what-
buy
yeah.
it again. So yeah, that's awesome that you're doing that. They always say, what is it? Quality over quantity. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So now tell us, what key lessons have you learned from your 14 years as a specialty food entrepreneur that you'd like to share with someone just starting?
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps. I think so many companies, they have an idea and then they invest everything and they get all excited and they have employees and they just move as slow as you can, do as much research as you can, and just start where you are. Don't spend all your money on something that you're not sure of, because chances are it's not going to work, or you're going to be in the hole. And so
I think just to kind of put a caveat on what Lori was saying, when she says slow, meaning don't throw all your money into it.
Right.
I say take your product as fast as you can to the people who need to buy it.
Right.
So the MVP, the minimum viable product idea, which is, it doesn't have to be perfect. The packaging doesn't have to be perfect. The quality of what you're looking for may be improved over time, but is someone going to buy that item right now? Get it to that as quickly as possible. When we started our business in the kitchen, we took it out to the Pike Place Market. We used to go every weekend to the Pike Place Market, set up a tent across the street from the original Starbucks, which is still there, and we would sit there in the summer and sell broth. Okay, and people would buy it, and we would get feedback. You get instant feedback from people who are tasting it right in front of you. Like, oh, what's that? We had to change the name of of the product early on, because we used to call it Millie's Savory Tea. We thought that was a cool, and people were like, ooh, yuck, the tea tastes like soup. It tastes like broth. We're like, oh, okay, well, maybe we just call it Millie's Sipping Broth instead. And then no one said ooh anymore.
Right. It was kind of funny.
But
whatever.
people liked it. They kept drinking. They bought it. They the people who got over the ooh factor, and then that gave us incredible. If we had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on that savory tea concept, we would have been. And luckily, we had a competitor come out with that 6 months after we started, and they did spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they canceled the product because people just couldn't get over the name.
Yeah, that would kind of make me a little concerned too, because I'm thinking tea, I'm going to have it with my breakfast in the morning, but I don't want soup for breakfast. Yeah, so I get it.
Broth really, it's all about, the semantics really matter.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have learned that lesson unless we had get it out in front of people as quickly as possible without in a very economical way.
Right. Yeah. So now what's next for Keep Life Tasty? Are there any new products, markets, or projects you're particularly excited about?
I think the biggest thing we're going to be focusing on to support our retail expansion is going to be in the food service area. Okay. Hospitals, break rooms, hotel rooms, right? Imagine having a broth in your hotel room at night. They give you the coffee, right? And the tea. Right. What about having broth there as, just something nice? The airline beverage carts, those are really the places where the product needs to be, that are above and beyond, finding it at retail. Because you go to work, 3:00 comes around, you go into the break room. What are you going to look for? You're going to look for a bag of Cheetos. You're going to look for some caffeine or whatever. But what if you had this broth that kind of, once you drank it, you were like, whoa, that's really satisfying. It's 10 calories. I make it a daily habit. The employer's happier because I'm not cranky because I didn't have a blood sugar spike, those kinds of things. Yeah. So that's really what's next for us, is really focusing on delivering the product like patients in hospitals to help them feel better during their recovery, right? If they get a premium flavor experience with broth, by the way, is the most complained about item in a hospital. People hate it because it just tastes like salt water. Yeah. Exactly. But if they got something that tastes amazing, it's going to help them heal faster. So those are the things that we're really focused on.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, how could people get a hold of you or learn more about you and what you're doing?
Yeah, so come to our website, sippingbroth.com. It's really easy to remember. That's what we make. We make sipping broth. We're also on social media at Sipping Broths, plural, for all of the platforms. But yeah, come and take a look. There's some videos, there's some great recipes. We have a whole section of recipes. Lori comes up with, incredible ideas. What was one of them just recently that you came up with?
Well, I know this is simple, but I love a good baked potato. I mean, most people do. Just sprinkling a little bit of the like I think I did tortilla. Spicy tortilla. Put a little bit on the baked potato.
So you ripped open the bag and just...
And I tasted it and I looked at Lance. I go, this is really good. Because we're trying stuff out too. Very simple things. And
think about the health consequence of that or butter, which is healthy.
How about that? Or sour cream or
Right, exactly.
So I'm not knocking other things either. I mean, that's fine if people can do that too, but it's just a nice option sometimes. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you again for being on the show. That was Lance and Lori Kezner. So thanks for listening to Real Conversations with Patricia. Never miss an episode by subscribing to the channel. So thank you again.
Thank you, Patricia. We appreciate this opportunity.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Real Conversations with Patricia, talking with some of the most brilliant minds on their journey to success and their recommended strategies. Please leave your feedback and visit pristineadvisors.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Feel free to let me know your thoughts, suggestions, and anything else you'd like me to cover. Together, we can make success happen for all.